तो बाकी मैंने कहा तो है, but let us see.
Okay. So let her join and then.
Yeah, I'll just in a minute, and then it can begin. Kopal is here, Santosh.
Okay. Yes. Hi.
Good morning, Kopal. Welcome. And let me start the webinar. All of us are aware of that. This is admission-related webinar, and so far we had just about half a dozen, sort of 6 webinars so far. This is the 6th one. Yes, 6th, maybe a 7th one, I think. So in the series of webinar that we are organizing, basically to talk to the students who are aspiring to join Ambedkar University, Delhi. So far, most of our program and most of our program metrics and the faculty profile, etc., have been. We keep doing this orientation, as you all know, that after they join the university, then we introduce our programs and courses. But this time we thought that we should take our programs and courses to the students who are still not decided. I mean, still they are trying to look at Ambedkar University as one option. So in that respect, I think this is the initiative. We thought that, and since it is a recorded one, and it is every evening it is kept there at the schedule, so you can watch. Whoever is interested in the program can watch the entire recordings and see what are the important points and what are the highlights of these programs. In that series today we are discussing English programming and the comparative literature cohort. The program is making a presentation today, and I'm very happy that we have our colleagues from the faculty of English, Vikram Singh Thakur and Kopal, there to make a presentation and tell us about the program and the highlights and what do they do, etc. Right. So with these note, I welcome all of you, and I hand it over to Vikram Singh Thakur to start the presentation with introduction. My suggestion would be to Vikram and Kopal both that you should be talking as if you are talking to the prospective or the aspiring students who are actually applicants who are interested in MA English or BA English, even though we know that there will be a separate presentation on BA, but nevertheless, we all, in these webinars, we are talking about all three, largely about masters and PhD, but of course, also a little bit about BA, because all of us teach, as I've been saying this in all the all the webinars, that is perhaps the beauty of this campus and this university, where all of us teach at all places in BA and masters and PhD. It's nothing to do with where are you placed in the hierarchy, formal hierarchy. So a professor also teaches in the BA program, and an assistant professor might be teaching in the taking courses for PhD. So that's possible, like here only. So I say, in a way, our claim to be a non-hierarchical university also reflects there in these kind of pedagogical standpoints and practices that we have followed so far in the last 13-14 years of our existence. Bikram has been a long co-traveler. I mean, so is Gopal. So I think all of us have been aware of this journey so far, and therefore I would like to say that this university, which is known by the name of the iconic Baba Saheb Ambedkar, we call ourselves Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University Delhi. In media, it is reported as AUD. Unfortunately, many a times there is a confusion about a college in Delhi University, which is called Bhimrao Ambedkar College, and it gets sometimes it creates confusion. But let there be no confusion. So I'm introducing the university that we all represent, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University Delhi, which is a unitary institution, doesn't have affiliated colleges, etc. We have multiple campuses, but we are one unit. We have different campuses, and we have campuses in Kashmiri Gate, in Karampura, in Lodi Road, and in Kutub Institutional Area. There are 4 places that we have our campuses, but we are a unitary entity in that sense. So we do not have affiliated colleges. So if you join in BA program, you are straight away joining a university. With all respect for the college, idea of a college and all that. There are in Delhi has some iconic colleges, but just to kind of keep it factually correct, I'm introducing our university in these ways. I will I'll come later, but I can see that there are others joining. Bikram, I pass it on to you, passing on the baton to you.
Thank you, sir.
To tell us about your journey so far. Tell us about your experience of working in Ambedkar University, and how would you like your program to be introduced to the prospective or aspiring students? So welcome Bikram and Gopal both to the, and I'm very thankful to both of you for sparing some time, despite the fact that this is a summer break. And so I'm really grateful to both of you for taking out time and coming and joining us. So thank you very much at the outset only.
Thank you so much.
I pass it on to Bikram. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Singh. Good morning, everyone. I welcome you. Oh, I think I'm audible, right? Gopal, am I?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So good morning, everyone. I welcome all of you to this admission webinar hosted by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, Delhi. Before we actually introduce you to the English programs offered at AUD, let me begin with an epigraph. And it's a small passage. It's a short sort of a passage from Upmanyu Chatterjee's darkly comic novel, English August, an Indian story. So there's a character called Tonic in the novel who says, and I quote Tonic says, Dr. Prem Krishan of Meerut University has written a book on E.M. Forster, India's darling Englishman. Most of us seem to be so grateful that he wrote that novel about India. Dr. Prem Krishan holds a PhD on Jane Austen from Meerut University. Have you ever been to Meerut? A wild place, but comfortably India. What is Jane Austen doing in Meerut? Why is some Jat teenager in Meerut reading Jane Austen? Why does a place like Meerut have a course in English at all? Only because the Prem Krishans of the country need a place where they can teach this rubbish. He jabbed dramatically at the manuscript with his pipe. Surely they can spend the money they waste on running the department usefully elsewhere. End quote. Now, no offense intended either to Miss Austen or to Prem Krishans or to Meerut. I think Chatterjee's funny discourse on English literary studies deserves some attention in post-colonial India, especially when we are celebrating our 76th year of independence. To tell you this little story before I move on, a little more than a decade ago, the Faculty of English at Ambedkar University, AUD as we call it, found itself confronting the same questions that Tonic had raised so lucidly in jest and humor in the novel. Our journey actually began with deliberating some of these conceptual questions, like what is the role of education in post-colonial India? What does it mean to be teaching English literary studies in India after 6 decades of independence? Could there be a single understanding of English in a multilingual world in which Britain has lost its monopoly over the language? In such a global scenario, What should English in English literary studies refer to? American, Australian, South African, Indian, the Caribbean, or all of these? Friends, the undergraduate and the postgraduate English programs that we've been offering since then are a result of endless debates and discussions that we have had around these questions. We launched our undergraduate and graduate programs and postgraduate programs in 2011 and our PhD program in 2017. And I hope that we have been doing decently well over the years, since we have been able to attract some critical and creative minds across India. The guiding principle in our endeavor has been to dismantle the hierarchy between British literature and other literatures in English, including literatures in translation. And committed to teaching literatures other than British and American, our programs they seek to engage with literary margins. Though I must confess here that we also do courses on British and American literatures, though their numbers are few and engagement unconventional. We've also attempted to bring literatures from languages and regions that have hitherto been kept at the margins of English literary studies in most, or in fact, many academic institutions. And we draw heavily on South Asian and non-European literatures as well. The second sort of significant component in our literary studies program is an interaction with allied disciplines while maintaining its autonomy. Since AUD came into existence at a time when Indian academia was looking towards interdisciplinarity as an essential component in modern education, we were given the mandate to promote and practice it in all our programs. We have thus consciously attempted an amalgamation between various literatures, theory and practice on the one hand, and between performing arts and visual arts on the other. The result is a number of undergraduate and postgraduate courses that are interdisciplinary in nature. In addition, our department also encourages transdisciplinary interaction by opening all our courses to students from other disciplines. And this is largely true of MA English. Kopal will be in a position to tell better about the BA program on this point. So don't be surprised to find a sociologist or a mathematician or an economist sitting next to you in a literature class. I can assure you that it will only add value to your education and experience. We also encourage our students to opt for courses from other disciplines. The structures of the English program allow students to opt for courses across other disciplines as well. Our interdisciplinary and transdisciplinary engagement is reflected not just in the taught courses, but also in the MA dissertation, which students choose on their own in diverse fields. And I shall speak briefly about it later in the presentation. To cut the spiel short, I would just say that there cannot be a uniform blueprint of English literary studies in a country like India that has innumerable linguistic and literary traditions. However, at AUD, we have tried our best to create a program that is inclusive, diverse, unconventional, and cutting edge. Now, with this, let me briefly introduce you to the MA English program. Kopal, can you move the slide to the first? Go to the second, yes. So let's begin with the program outcomes. They are all spelled out here. So the MA English program, once you're done with the program, we expect you to have analytical thinking, ability to question the formation of canons and concept of the mainstream, sensitivity to the margins, the unheard and the unspoken, reflective thinking. The next slide. Understanding of the social, moral. Kopal, can you move to the next slide? Kopal, can you hear me? Yeah, thank you. So understanding of the social, moral, and ethical and its relationship to literature. As I've already mentioned, you will also understand the relationship between literature and other arts. You will gain sensitivity towards literatures of Global South and those outside the traditional domains of Anglo-American culture. Importance of research in oral and folkloric practices helps, after you're done with your MA and especially with your dissertation, it helps in developing interest in research through the elective MA dissertation course. And now, if you move towards the program structure, this is fairly simple. It's not very complex. So what you have is an MA that stretches over 2 years and comprises 16 courses. Each course is 4 credits. So that amounts to a total of 64 credits, and that are to be completed over 4 semesters, that is 2 years. Keeping with AUD's emphasis on interdisciplinary studies, students will be encouraged to opt for up to 4 optional courses from other programs, that is other than English discipline, within the School of Letters or from any other school of the university. And we usually encourage our students to opt for 1 course outside the English discipline in each semester, totaling up to a maximum of 4 non-English courses. Students can also opt for a research elective, that is writing a master's dissertation. So as of now, it's not a compulsory component. You can choose to write a dissertation. About the assessments, AUD follows a continuous assessment pattern through the semester, which means that students take multiple assignments for each course. Some of these could include term papers, class presentations, group projects, tests, quizzes, take-home assignments, in-class examinations, or there may be some more, but you will not have a situation where you have more than 4 or 5 assessment situations for a particular course. Moving to the next slide, we have discipline elective courses. As of now, English, like MA English, has all the courses as elective courses. So we do not have any compulsory course as of now. So all the courses are elective in a sense. And here's a long list of courses. So there are 3 slides of elective courses that I've provided here. Not all of these courses may be offered each semester. Like we offer 4 or 5 courses or 6 courses at the most in each semester. But the courses are to be drawn from the long list of elective courses that we have. And here is the list. You can read the list. I can just take a few of these courses. For instance, Literatures of Childhood, Translation in Contemporary India, Dalit Literature, Metropolitan Modernity, Literary Historiography. The next slide has Contemporary Indian English Fiction, Women Writing in India, Native American Literature, Literatures of Africa. The next slide says The Woman Question in Anglo-American Literature, Remembering Partition, Literary Theory, Folklore and Folkloristics. So if you look at these courses, you will see that these are courses drawn not necessarily only from literary studies, but also from allied disciplines, right? So whether it's photography, whether it's film, or whether it's theater or drama, whether it's folklore, so on and so forth. I think one of the most important, can you move to the next slide, Gopi? Yeah. I think one of the most exciting features of MA English that students really find it exciting is their MA dissertation project. And they get to choose their own research topic, building up on whatever they've been studying over the past 1 year in the first year of their MA. And we have had students working in diverse fields like folklore, graphic narratives, science fiction, performing arts, visual arts, cinema, among very many other sort of areas. We not only invite students to be critical in their dissertations, but also creative. And hence, we have had some unconventionally creative dissertations submitted by our students. For example, I remember from the early years of our MA course when we launched it in 2011, I think it was 2014 or 2013, where a student actually submitted an English translation of Bijan Bhattacharya's Nabanno as a dissertation. Now, there was an introductory essay that was appended to the translation, but it was significant because, if you know the play Nabanno or The New Harvest, it's one of the most significant plays of Ipta, but unfortunately, it had never been translated into English before that. And the second is a dissertation on Dharamveer Bharti's Andhayug, which was submitted entirely as a graphic narrative by a student of ours. And if you want to have a look, there are 2 or 3 slides about the second dissertation, where you get an idea what would that mean, what would a dissertation submitted in a narrative form look like. So there are 3 slides. You can have a look. Yeah. Coming down to the admission process, the university follows the common entrance test, And as a program, we do not have any specific sort of requirement. It's the common requirement that all other programs have. So you have to clear this, you have to take this test, and based on the test, you will have admission given for the university. Coming to the next slide, which is financial assistance. Again, this is not something which is specific to the English program, but to all the programs, including BA, MA, and so on, that we have fee waivers full fee waivers of tuition to students belonging to SC, ST, and PWD categories. And if you have a family income of less than 6 lakh, you're also eligible for fee waivers. We also have a student welfare fund which helps you with the daily needs of students, like conveyance, purchase of books and study material. And we also have what we call merit-based scholarships, which are given to students every semester. Now, this is given to the top 20% of the cohort, that in every semester. So the top 20% of the total admitted students do get a merit-based scholarship. And this is given in every single semester. So if you are good enough and if you are among the first top 20, in all the 4 semesters, you may get it for all 4 semesters. Last slide that I have is the prospects after MA English. Once you're done with your MA English, what all can you expect? Where can you find yourself, placed? And these are some of the areas that you may find, because some of our students are working in these areas like publishing. They've taken civil services exams, content writers and editors. Many of them have cleared their net and they're pursuing college level university teaching. Some of them have joined schools. Some of them are working in corporate. Some of them are working as translators, working in journalism, so on and so forth. So that is it from my side about the MA English. And now I invite my colleague, Popul, Dr. Popul, to talk about PhD and BA English programs. Thank you very much. Over to you, Popul.
Thank you, Vikram. And thanks for a very detailed introduction to the English discipline. I think the philosophy and ethics and pedagogy that you began the presentation with is shared through all the programs, not just masters, but also undergraduate as well as the research program that we offer. So I'm afraid I'll be repeating at least the initial part a little bit. I'll try to keep the repetition to the minimum. I'll begin with, of course, introducing the research school, the PhD program. The PhD program, of course, we began our PhD program in AUD in 2017. So it's been 6 years exactly this summer. And we have had our first PhD students who have submitted their thesis already. So we are right on track, and we are very happy about that. Our PhD program, is built on the belief that the concerns raised in literary texts can extend beyond the boundaries of traditional literary analysis. We encourage our students to explore how these concerns resonate and find analogies in various other disciplines. So there is, we try our students gain a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of knowledge and its applications. At AUD, we also foster an intellectually stimulating environment which challenges the canonically accepted critical positions and methodologies in literary studies. And we believe in empowering our students to contribute to newer perspectives and expanding the boundaries of knowledge. We also feel strongly, based on our university's larger philosophy, that knowledge creation, literature, culture, they are not created in isolation, but art is deeply intertwined with politics, style, psychology, translations, technologies, etc. And there are various factors which shape and influence literary and cultural texts. And in our work through pedagogy as well as research, we explore these intricate connections throughout. The program outcomes of our PhD, our program places a strong emphasis, as I said, on interdisciplinary methodologies and engaged research. We believe that integrating various disciplines enhances the depth and breadth of research, and a PhD program provides, or at least strives to provide, the skills to bridge gaps between different fields of studies and to develop a holistic understanding of research. One of our core objectives is to provide the students with a comprehensive understanding of critical and theoretical paradigms. Our faculty members are experts in their respective fields, and through our PhD, we give the analytical tool necessary to interpret texts and contribute to the scholarly conversation in various research these are offered by the English faculty. The first three, the first is conceptual and philosophical frameworks in Asian traditions, discerning research methods, and guided reading course. There is one course, however, which is an open elective, and that you can take from any other discipline that you like, and that's also 4-credit course. So these are the overall 18 credits that the PhD scholar needs to do early into her PhD. The admission process, we have just decided, the university has just decided that we will be following CUET examination for entrance exams in PhD as well. And the basic eligibility for the candidate is to have a postgraduate degree from a recognized university with a minimum of 55% to apply in a PhD program. And then you can sit in the entrance exams, the CUET, which is given by CUET. However, students who have eligibility of UGC NET or have UGC JRF, they are exempted from taking this entrance exam. Right, so that's the first step. And then the students, the candidates who are selected based on the short list of this entrance exam, or of course with NET and PhD, they are asked to submit a research proposal, and they will get a very short notice period for submitting this after the admission, after the results are out. And based on this, you'll be called for, you'll be called for an interview, and the interview will be based on the research proposal that you submit. So it's a good idea that if you want to apply to our PhD program, that you already start working on your research proposal. And of course, you need to follow the very basic standard format for the research proposal, which has introduction, aims and objectives, research questions, existing research in area. These headers should be followed in your research proposal, which should be roughly around 2,000 to 2,500 words. Right. And of course, these are our current PhD scholars are working on some of these areas: folk traditions, life narratives, translation, science fictions, graphic novels, women writing, Dalit literature, memory studies, post-colonial literatures, and so on. Now, I would like to introduce briefly our faculty members. Some of them are here. I would request them to come on camera if possible. I'll just give very short, like one, 2-line introductions, and if they could possibly put their camera on, it'll give and say hello when I tell when I sort of introduce them. That'll be good. So first, of course, is Dr. Amit Singh, who has done his PhD from Jawaharlal Nehru University, and his areas of research interest are folklore and folkloristics, Asian Canadian literature, world literature, as well as oral and epic traditions. Currently, Amit is working on folkloric traditions surrounding Kumbh and Magh Mela traditions at Prayag, as well as narrative traditions of Rajasthan. He also, of course, works in spatiality and temporality. Amit, if you're here, if you could just say hello, that would okay. And of course, then our next faculty member is Dr. Bhumika Meeling. Bhumika, if you're here, I'll request you to just put your camera on and say hello. Bhumika has done her PhD from JNU. Her research interests are translation and culture studies, Russian literature, as well as African literature. We have Dr. Diamond Oberoi Vahali, whose PhD is also from JNU, and her research interests are cinema studies, psychoanalysis, life writing and memory studies. Then there's Dr. Kopal, that's me. I've done my PhD also from JNU, and my areas of research interest are literary historiography, literatures of the Indian subcontinent, literatures of protest and resistance, as well as crime fiction. And then there's Dr. Sanju Thomas. Her PhD is also from JNU, and her research interests are translation studies, Indian literature, Malayalam literature and cinema, as well as post-colonial literatures. We have Dr. Sapna Dudeja Taluja, whose PhD is from Jamia Millia Islamia. Sapna, if you're here, I saw you here a bit. If you could just say hello to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Sapna. And her research interests are literary theory and criticism, popular literature, and culture studies. We have Dr. Usha Mudiganti from IIT Delhi, and her research interests are in the field of literatures of childhood, gender studies, and popular culture studies. We have Dr. Vikram Singh Thakur.
Hello. Hi.
Seen Vikram. Vikram's PhD is from University of Hyderabad, and his area of expertise is in post-colonial studies, Indian theatre, Shakespeare performance, and partition studies. So that's our research program, the PhD program. The interesting thing that we want to emphasize is that the faculty that we introduced, does teach through all the levels from BA to MA, as well as they guide students in their PhD. So this expertise is available even to our BA students, which is something that you don't get in in many colleges and some other universities. So that's something that we very deliberately try to do. There are a couple other interesting things that I wanted to share, which are applicable to all the students of all the three programs, BA, MA, and PhD, is that you also have grants available, travel grants available, apart from scholarships, for participation in conferences abroad. That's something that especially for undergraduate students as well, that not all universities provide, but we have our students who have availed of these opportunities and participated in international conferences. Now I'll quickly move on to the BA the undergraduate program. I will skip the introduction in detail. I'll quickly sort of try to read through it, of course, because many of these things are, these are shared between all the three programs. We aim to instill in our students the sense of social responsibility and commitment, as well as we actively engage with the perspectives of the marginalized community. We have a strong emphasis on translations into English, ensuring that our students have exposure to a wide range of Indian as well as global literatures, non-Anglo-European European literatures also. By exploring these translations, of course, students gain a broader understanding of diverse cultures, histories, and perspectives, and we try to foster a global outlook. We also celebrate the richness and diversity of artistic traditions, oral traditions, visual traditions, etc. And of course, primary thing is for our programs to challenge established hierarchies within literary and cultural practices and move towards a democratic approach to study and appreciate literature. So this is the base. So for the program structure, AUD has already implemented the FYUP, which is 4-year undergraduate program, last year. Based on this, of course, we are going to provide a 4-year BA, but you also have an option for 3-year BA. I'll quickly go through. If you want to do a 3-year BA English program, you need to do 52 credits. Remember, 4 credits is 1 course. So 52 credits of compulsory and 8 credits of elective courses in English literature. That's 60 credits of total English literature that we will be teaching you, the faculty that you just met. Then you have 3 compulsory courses, ability enhancement courses, which is English language, Hindi, and environment. Of course, this totals to 12 credits. You have to do 1 ability enhancement course, which is optional, and 1 skill enhancement course, and 1 generic elective course, which is at least 1 course from other disciplines. This is minimum that you have to do. Obviously, you can do more than this also. But for the 4-year BA, there are 2 options that a student has. You can have a 4-year BA English degree with research, or a 4-year BA English honors degree. There are 2 kinds of degrees, and I'll quickly go over the differences. For the first one, that is 4-year English BA degree with research, you have to do over 60% of your courses from English literature, which is your discipline, right? So 60 credits of compulsory courses, 32 credits of elective courses, along with 10 credits of research methodology course, as well as a major research project report, which is like a short dissertation that you'll have to write. So overall, 102 credits would be from your discipline, which is English literature. Whereas if you are doing BA English honors degree, then you'll have to do overall 50% weightage of these courses from English discipline, as opposed to 60. And also, instead of this research project report, you will have to do a seminar paper in your final year. This is the difference between the 2 4-year BAs. The admission process is fairly simple. It's again we follow CUET undergraduate program. So you need to have passed class 12th with a minimum of 65% in English paper, right? So these are the 2 things that you need to have passed. So your 12th, of course, should also be from a recognized board. The other standard things, of course, like financial assistance, Vikram has already explained, these are university-wide policy, not specific to only the BA students. There are a whole lot of English discipline courses. I'll just introduce. I'll just like to name a few, select few. So of course, there are literatures of Indian subcontinent, literatures of the Renaissance, Romantic Age, epic, American literature, introductions to drama, genres of fiction, etc. Folk oral indigenous popular culture. We have Dalit literature, literature written for children and young adults, literary theory, etc. So with this, I end my presentation here. Should you have any questions, you can obviously write to us. You can write to the student services. You can also write to the program coordinators. I will end the presentation here. Just a second. Yes.
Thank you, Gopal, once again. Hi, Ashish is here. Yeah, hi.
Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Gopal ma'am. Thank you, Vikram sir. It is a wonderful insight. If I can request any other faculty members to just, they want to just add on to the conversation which was just going on. I can see Sapna ma'am is here if she wants to say something about the program.
I think everything has been very lucidly and comprehensively covered by Dr. Gopal and Dr. Vikram. So there's very little that I can add.
Okay. Vikram sir, Gopal ma'am, if I can just ask you a question that basically 3 USPs, why applicant should join a university for this BA or MA English program?
I mean, we've already spelled these out, and but if you ask me this, the common things would be the faculty who are supervising PhD students are also teaching BA and MA. So, this is something which not many colleges, whether in Delhi or outside Delhi, do. So I think it's a privilege for students to being taught by supervisors who are supervising PhD students. A. B, I think what is also important here is the fact, at least for MA, for instance, that we have elective structure, and there are a lot of electives in that sense that students can perhaps choose from. And 3, as Gopal has also suggested, that we also have travel grants, which are not usually available in many colleges. So, for instance, we have had students from BA, MA, and PhD who have availed travel grants across India or even abroad to go for to cover their travel expenses for their paper presentations. Gopal, if you want to add something.
And for masters, yes, dissertation. There are hardly any universities which have dissertations at masters.
And now for BA as well, I guess.
Now for BA, of course, FYUP would allow that. So there is quite a bit of emphasis on research. The other thing which I can add is our very interesting and flexible assessment structure. All kinds of it's continuous assessment, and they're very interesting pedagogical experiments that many of us make while assessing the students. So those kinds of experiments are also made here. Amit is here. Amit wants to add something. That'll be great. You're muted, Amit.
Hi, everyone. Just to add what Gopal and Vikram have already mentioned it, I think some of our USPs also include mentor and mentorship program that we have. We have exclusive time for our students, and also related with that, particularly for our PhD, unlike other places where supervisor is the guide, we have research advisory committee, very robust one, and we are very sincere with that. So there are 3 people available for your research guidance. I think this I see as one of our best practices that we have been following very religiously. Thank you.
Maybe I could add that the small class size for BA and MA is another USP that we could highlight.
We are not teaching 200 students in a class. So, 40, 45 is doable.
Okay, sir, if you can just brief about the early exit, which the university is also having, if a student want to, quit his degree in between, and just brief about that also.
Kopal, I think that's for BA because FYUP for MA hasn't yet begun.
So even though we don't encourage that, we wouldn't encourage early exit option at all. The good thing is the university has still a robust scholarship system and fee waivers as well. We wouldn't want students to exit. Our experience with FYUP is fairly new. We've only had 1 year. So we haven't, so far the students obviously haven't exercised that option, but that's something which is, which the new education policy and FYUP system mandates. It's mandated in the FYUP system that you provide that option. So should the student feel that she needs a break or there's some issues, she has the option of exiting and then entering at a better time, better suited. However, there are other, we really wouldn't suggest that. We also have, it reminded me, we also have EHSAS, which is a psychotherapy clinic. So students with concerns around mental health and stress, etc., can get that kind of support also. Amit wants to add to this.
No, Kopal, not to this. I forgot to mention that we are also very sincere with our field trips in which students are involved across disciplines and cohorts. So some of our courses encourage students to actually go to the field. And in our dissertations and our research, we encourage our students to develop very robust methodologies of field work. So this is something that we have been successfully doing. I think Vikram and I, we could manage to have a fruitful field trip, and we are sincere with that.
Okay, thank you. We are open to questions. Anybody wants to ask any questions, please go ahead.
So if there are no questions, can we call it off then, Ashish? If there are questions, we can take these. Otherwise, shall we?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We don't have any questions.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ashish. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for your time and patience. And I thank my colleagues and everyone else who's present here. Thank you.
Thank you to you, Vikram and Kopal.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On behalf of Team Student Services, I thank all the faculty members and the applicants who have joined this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you.